Hello and welcome to the program. I am DEJI360. It seems Bayelsa State may be bracing up for another governorship election soon following the removal of Governor DEJI360 by the state's governorship election petition tribunal. By the way, the governor is still on seat because he has actually appealed the decision of the tribunal. Now, the election was nullified based on a petition by the Advanced Nigeria Democratic Party, ANDP, and its governorship candidate, Lucky King George, which argued that they were unlawfully excluded from the election. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had explained that it excluded ANDP because the party's initial deputy governorship candidate did not meet the age requirement of 35 years to contest in elections. And ANDP submitted that he was duly substituted within the allowed time frame following his disqualification by INEC. In its ruling, the tribunal faulted the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for disqualifying the candidate of the ANDP. It also ordered INEC to conduct a fresh election within 90 days. Of course, Governor DEJI360 has said he is appealing against that judgment. So we wait for the outcome of that appeal. But pending the outcome of that appeal, he still maintains his position as the governor of Bayelsa State. And don't forget, this case could go as far as the Supreme Court. So we're just at the beginning of it, so to speak. Joining me to discuss this further is Libros Oshoma, who joins us via Skype in Lagos. And of course, he's a lawyer and a political analyst. Libros, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Let me start by asking you, just minutes or say hours after that verdict now by the tribunal, we saw APC supporters in Bayelsa State jubilating, celebrating that the judgment offers the party another opportunity to take part in the election after what happened. Is that the case in law?
That's certainly not the case in law, because in as far as the Bayelsa election is concerned, the Supreme Court has ruled that the APC has no candidates. And since the court ruled that APC had no candidate, that was why all the votes that were scored by APC were nullified. And that so, APC not having a candidate, if the time for substitution of candidates also has lapsed in law. So even if, the Court of Appeal affirmed that election should INEC should conduct a rerun, it is for those that the court heard that are candidates, and that apart from the ADP candidate that the court specifically requested that INEC should include in the list. And so to answer your question directly, I think, politics in Nigeria, a lot of ignorance, and some, I won't blame them. Even some lawyers also have argued, blindly that it might give APC a window of opportunity. But clearly, under the provisions of the law and as heard by the Supreme Court, APC had no candidates in the election. And if there were a window for substitution of candidate, you could say APC could have substituted the candidate that was defective. But as it stands, that window had been closed.
And of course, INEC is insisting that it did the right thing with regards to this party now, the ANDP, that it acted lawfully. Yes,
I think the argument here really, with all due respect to the learned justice of the panel of the tribunal, I think there is a mix-up between disqualification and refusal to register, or exclusion of candidates and a candidate who had not met the requirement for registration. Yes, because if you look at the fact of the matter, actually, INEC did say, even the Supreme Court had heard in the case of Van Zamfara that INEC has powers to enforce its guidelines. The law, section 177, paragraph B, says you must be 35 years and above. And so for INEC to accept your nomination, You must cross that hurdle. Otherwise, it's like the law says you must have a school set or its equivalent, and then you submit documents that does not show that you have met that requirement, and you say INEC has no right to reject those documents, and that once it is rejected, what it means is that INEC has excluded you from participating. INEC also stated that as at the time that the political party sent in another name as at the time this political party substituted its candidate, the time for substitution, the window for substitution had closed, which was why I referred you to Zamfara. Because what happened to APC in Zamfara? As at the time APC sent in the list of their candidates, INEC said that the window for accepting nomination had closed. And the Supreme Court upheld that argument, and that the window haven't closed, that the party can no longer fit candidates. So in this case, INEC insisted that the window had closed by September 13th. And so substitute a candidate by September 23rd, that you were way outside the time. And so, for me, I would wait to hear what this Court of Appeal will say in this matter, but it's a bit an interesting one, because everybody seems to be looking at it from the point of view of exclusion. But we forget also that before you can participate in an election, there are requirements that you're supposed to meet.
I understand you perfectly, Libros. I understand you, and we wait and see how that case will go in the Court of Appeal,
exactly.
and no doubt at all, it might go up to the Supreme Court. No doubt.
Yes, I know.
All right, Libros Shoma, thank you very much for joining us in the program, and thank you for your thoughts there. All right, we'll take a short break now, and we'll be right back to discuss issues about trade now, especially the face-off between Nigeria and Ghana over the treatment of Nigerian traders in that country. Stay with us. On DEJI360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent.
Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.